maybe overarching philosophy about what you want to do here with the Razorbacks?
Well, that's a pretty broad, could be a pretty broad statement, but obviously you're probably looking at, philosophy, from a defensive standpoint. And, it's not going to change a lot from what we've done from the last 25 years. We've taken a lot of pride in being a great pressure defense. We're going to affect the quarterback. If you want to win in this league, there's two things you got to do. You got to win the line of scrimmage, and you got to be able to affect the quarterback. And we're going to do that. We're going to do that. We've kind of got a footprint of that out there already, and it'll change up a little bit depending on our personnel. It changed the last couple years. We're not going to try to put square pegs in the round holes. We're going to do what our personnel will allow us to do. Now, there are certain things that we're not going to deviate from. It's going to be who we are, and we will be a pressure defense.
You've seen them across the field for the last 8 years in a row.
At least.
What do you make of the personnel that you've been able to see? I know it isn't as focused, but
But sometimes it's hard, to make that evaluation when they're, playing in a different scheme. But certainly, there's some personnel here. Is every piece in place? Absolutely not. I don't know of a program that you can say that about. There's always issues, and that's the thing that a lot of times when you're sitting in those seats that you don't understand about coaching is, I don't care how good your football team is, you got issues that you deal with, and the teams that going to win the most games are the ones that are going to deal with those issues the best, and sometimes there's things that you have to cover up. It may be a lack of talent at a position. It may be a lack of depth, but you have to cover up some of those things, and all those things go into coaching. So, but when you start looking at the personnel, there's some really good talent here at Arkansas. There's no question about that. Is there talent here to win 14 games? Well, it wasn't this past year, but eventually there will be, and I think that's what Coach has been talking about. It's a process, and that process starts in recruiting and recruiting to a certain style that you want to play both offensively and defensively. So, there's some talent here. There's no question about that, and we're looking forward to see it in the off season. We'll continue to evaluate all the way through recruiting, through the all-season program, and then when we get into spring practice, and certainly at the end of spring practice, we'll know a little bit more about where we are. We know some things already. We know there's some areas that we got to try to help ourselves, even in the last half of this recruiting class. There's some things, and I'm not going to talk about those needs, but there's some needs that we need to try to meet in the last half of this recruiting cycle that we're in now.
I think you faced Arkansas 20-plus times at your other stops. How does it feel to be wearing that Razor?
Feels good. Feels good. I'm a guy that, when you start looking, and I don't want to get into, the guy I am, but Coach Morris and I talked about this. I've coached for, actually it's 40 years. I know I only look like I'm 38. Anybody? But, loyalty has been a big part of me. And, I started my career at, ended up coaching for 10 years at two small schools in the state of Alabama, Alabama A&M and Alabama State. Coach Majors hired me back at Tennessee, who I'd played for 2 years. Went back there and spent 21 years there, 6 years at LSU and 3 years at Texas A&M. And, the whole thing is in terms of, looking at a body of work, and we're not going to talk about, but, when you start having great success is when that continuity is there. Go back at the 21 years that I spent at Tennessee. The reason we had success and the reason we spanned over a 25-year period winning more games than anybody in the nation was because of the continuity. And that's what you got to have built in. But to answer your question, I feel great. And let me tell you this, I've seen Arkansas, like you said, from the other side. And Coach Morris and I talked a little bit about this when we were in discussions about this job. I can go back, and some of you may not want to talk about it, I can go back to 1998 when I was at Tennessee and we played Arkansas. We both were undefeated and both fighting for an opportunity to win a national championship, a game that could have gone either way. We played terrible defense that first half. We came back and played the second half and had a break and won the game, went on and won a national championship. when we played in 2011, and this is in recent years. And I told Coach Morris this. I said that was as fine an Arkansas team as I've ever seen. You know, we're at LSU. We're number 1 in the country. Alabama's number 2 in the country. Arkansas is number 3 in the country. Not just in the SEC West. We're talking country. You know, so I've seen the caliber teams that Arkansas can field, and certainly that's one of the things that, you know, that will make me excited and keep me excited. But knowing that, you know, that it's possible, you know, because everybody wants to know, you Coach, and they're going to ask that, Coach, can you win a national championship here? Yeah, we're probably not going to win it tomorrow, but can you win a national championship here? I've seen Arkansas from that picture, and I know what it's like, and I know what it can be like here. So, you know, we're excited about that. We're excited, and I'm excited personally to be a part of Coach Morris' staff and be a part of the group that's going to help him put Arkansas where it needs to be. And certainly I'm excited about wearing this Arkansas shirt today.
Coach, you spoke about continuity, continuity. Steve Caldwell, how good is it to be back with him? And he's a guy that's been at Arkansas before.
Yeah, he not only at Arkansas, but we spent 15 years together at Tennessee. He was a big part of what we did defensively at Tennessee, and also from a recruiting standpoint. And you know, you're not going to find a better recruiter. You're not going to find a better football coach anywhere in the country. And not with just Steve, you know, with Ron Cooper, with John Scott, you know, with the entire staff that Coach Morris has put together. And certainly, you know, I heard him speak of the model, and I'm not going to speak about things that he, you know, that he's already spoke about, but he's got a great model, and that's one of the things too that I'm so excited about. You know, I understand the model that he's putting together here, and it is a model, and its full work will give us an opportunity to have great success at Arkansas, and the vision that he has to be able to put that together, and I'm really excited about that. So not only the people, but also the model, because, you know, it's, you know, I got to ask this, you know, do you think you can solve all the problems? And I don't think I can solve all the problems anywhere. I don't think anybody can solve all the problems anywhere. I think you can be a part of a model that will solve the problems, and we've got that model. So that's the biggest thing that I'm excited about, is being a part of that model.
Team had, there were 4-3 2 years ago and 3-4 last year. What do you think is the base defense for this?
Well, you know, I think you got to be multiple, and we have been multiple. We're going to base out of a 4-down front, and I think we choose that direction because if we can recruit the right speed on the edge, it gives us an opportunity to affect the quarterback even quicker. You know, and we've had great success even this past year, and I may be a little bit off on this stat, but I think we led the SEC in sacks, and we did it with guys that were just hard workers, not elite players, just hard workers. And you know, I think the scheme has been proven, and again, like I said, we're going to base out of a 4-down front, but we'll play a lot of 3-down principles as well, and we're going to move people around. We've been a big zone blitz, big fire zone team for forever, and we're going to try to create problems. And part of the philosophy in coaching is, you know, when you start game planning, you look at all the problems that an offense is giving you, and you know, a lot of times you get so carried away with the problems that they're giving you that you don't realize what you can do to give them problems. So, you know, we're going to make sure for every problem they give us, we're going to give them a problem to deal with too. And you know, it's when we get our guys where they understand what we do and how we do it, then certainly scheme-wise we can give you a lot of problems. And when we put great players in those schemes, we can give you even more problems, and that's what we intend to do.
Coach Morris talked about when he met John Scott, you know, how impressive. What was your impressions when you met Coach Scott?
Great, absolutely. I hadn't met anybody, you know, here at Arkansas that I hadn't been impressed with, and I think again, you know, that's what Coach Morris is going to surround himself around with people that are going to be impressive and people that, you know, that are going to embrace his vision. And that's what you got to do. You know, if you can't support it, then you don't need to be a part of it. And certainly, I think Coach has a great vision, and I think the people that he has chosen to be around him will support that vision. And again, from time to time, he already has. You know, he's going to always ask you what you think. That doesn't matter. Doesn't mean he's going to agree with what you think, but he's going to ask. And I appreciate the fact that he's going to, you know, that he approaches things that way. But there's no doubt, and it's been clear from the first day that I talked to Coach Morris, that he has a vision. And I think I understand it pretty well right now. And that's going to be the model for this program. And I'm excited to be a part of that. And John Scott fits that vision.
Coach, I know you said you look 38 years old, but we know you've been coaching a long
Yeah.
time. After the A&M, I think a lot of people, do you feel challenged to maybe get it back here?
Well, let me say this. I've always been challenged. If I can't feel good about what we're doing in terms of, you know, being at the top of the league or top of the profession, then it's time for somebody else to do it. And hey, that day's going to come. There'll be a day when I say, hey, you know what? I can't give the kids, I can't give the program what they need. Somebody else needs to do it. It's just not now, because it's still burning inside. Now, not necessarily because of the last 2 years there, you know. And again, I don't want to make this about me. I know I can coach. I know I can recruit. I know I can motivate. I know I can develop players, and that's what we're going to do. When I feel like I can't do that, or somebody else feels like I can't do that, then hey, you know, send me off in the sunset or whatever. But it's not time for that yet. It's not time. I got a lot of football left in me. I love it. It's what I enjoy doing. But I'm not going to cheat the game, and I'm not going to cheat the players.
Got time for a couple more. In your nearly 30 years in this league, what are the challenges now that have come about with the offenses that you haven't prepared for? And how much has that changed maybe what you wanted to do?
Well, it's changed a lot. You know, we're seeing a lot of fast-paced offense. You know, a lot of, you know, the RPO game. But it's still football. On offense, you got to block and run the football. On defense, you got to get off blocks and you got to make tackles. You know, that part hadn't changed. There's some of the fundamentals that hadn't changed. There's some of the structure that's a little bit different. And you know, I think where we probably noticed the biggest change is right now when we start setting up a defensive goal board. You know, it's changed a little bit. You know, it was always under 300 yards total offense. You know, and those goals, and I've tried to hold on to them. And if we don't reach those goals, you know, I don't think that you know, we're going to be a championship football team. But it's more difficult to reach those goals. So my point is this: we've kind of modified a few goals, but we hadn't gotten away from those original goals. I think with what we're seeing, you know, a couple areas that we got to be really great in. Number one, we got to play great tight zone defense. You know, we got to win and be successful, and then we got to get off the field on third down. You know, those things aren't going to ever change. You got to get off the field on third down. You got to play great tight zone defense and keep them from scoring touchdowns when they're there. And that's always been true, but I think it's even more relevant now. Yes.
When you look at, you talked about offense, RPO, when you look at practice against your offense in practice, what do you see with what Coach Morris is doing on offense, and how do you juggle all that?
Well, you know, and again, I don't want to speak, you know, for the offense. I'll let them do that. But, you know, you can talk about fast pace, and there's fast-paced teams that go out there and they throw it 3 downs, and, you know, then they punt it. Or you can be, you know, like I know his offense is structured because we played good. They're going to run the football. They're going to run the football, and they're going to throw it down the field, and they're going to do all those, but they're going to run the football. So, you know, it's when you just say, you know, you can't really compare one offense to the other and group them all together. You know, the thing that I'm excited about, I know this offense will help us be physical on the defensive side of the football as we practice against them. I know that's going to be there. I know that's going to be part of, because that's who Coach is. It's going to be a physical football team. It's not going to be where you can go out there and play in T-shirts and shorts. It's going to be physical, and that's the way you got to play to win in the SEC.
Last one, Bob. I'm sure you had a lot of opportunities. Was it important for you to stay in the SEC?
Well, you know, yeah, it was. It was. Like I said, you know, I may be the longest tenured coach in the SEC right now, you know. And yeah, I love the SEC. Yeah, it's been important. I played here in the SEC. All but the first 10 years of my coaching has been in the SEC, and like I said, I couldn't be any more excited about being at Arkansas and still being a part of the SEC. So it's great. Thank you guys very much.